Hello world, welcome to the Crazy Gentleman podcast. I'm your host, the Crazy Gentleman, and you know I have to wear the stars and stripes for this one. Today is a special one from Mama Tried with the guy who runs the show, Warren, JR Cycle Products, and Bareknuckle Paul, bareknuckleperformance.com. What should I say about this one? Well, first off, man, Warren, JR Cycle Products, out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I gotta thank him for putting on Mama Tried. It's the best part of winter. It's the best show in the country, really. I mean, it's the only place you just, like, I mentioned it a few times throughout the weekend, or like people would mention it to me. You just like, you'd be talking to someone, right? And you'd be like, oh, what bike you got in the show? And they'll be like, oh, it's the knucklehead over there. And it's like, there's like a fucking sea of knuckleheads or a sea of panheads. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's the craziest show there is. It's the craziest show you'll go to. Yeah. So anyways, thanks Warren for doing this podcast. Thanks for putting on Mama Tried. I know you're not alone in it, but you're the only one on the show today. So thank you. We could thank everyone else later when they do shows. I've been talking to you guys. You know who you are. So anyways, the other part of this show is, as you know, brought to you every week by Bareknuckle Performance, Bareknuckle Paul. Yeah, got a few of his things here today. I figured being that we're doing YouTube now, may as well show you some of the parts that I keep here and I run on my personal bikes. Obviously, as you could see, the bags, dude. These are the most badass things ever to hit Harley Davidsons. The BMW guys and the adventure guys have been running them for a while, but Paul brought them to the Harley world, man. I run these on my FXRs and my new Lowrider S Softail. They interchange too, same brackets. So these things clip on and off, quick disconnect, no tools on both bikes. He makes them for multiple models, not just FXRs and Softails. You could throw these on your Dyna. You could throw them. I think he makes touring brackets for them. Check it out. Hit the website. I say Bareknuckle. It's his other company, Pioneer Adventure Bags, but they're on the Bareknuckle website. They're awesome. They're waterproof. I got my Lowrider S right now in at my friend Willie Jackson, Durango, Colorado. Shout out, Willie. Thank you so much for the Patreon support also. Yeah, so when I fly out to Durango to go to Mexico this year, the Lowrider's already there. I'm bringing these things on as carry-on luggage on the plane. So you could fly all over and your bags come and go with you like luggage. Leave the bike wherever. I know a lot of guys do this. I'm not inventing the wheel here. But wherever your bike is, bring your bags back and forth and just in and out. If you feel like keeping your bikes around the country. If you have an addiction to motorcycles like I do. So yeah, these things are awesome, man. I don't even know how many miles I have on them now, but they're flawless. They're awesome. I got a ton of stickers to add to them from my last trip from when I left the bike out there in Colorado. But they're just, you can't even beat them, man. SW Motec makes the bags. Paul makes all the brackets and hardware, fully made in America. SW Motec's in Germany. You know, it's the only other kind of shit I could support besides American-made products is high-quality European products. You can't beat it. Yeah, and his other stuff too. I've done videos on these guys. I mean, you just can't beat this stuff. Hold on, let me get more. The axle, everyone knows this is probably Paul's best-selling part. I'm sure it's not his best-selling part, but as of late, I know this is what's up, man. These axles are awesome. All stainless steel, made in America. ARP hardware on them also. And you got them. And then you got the axle adjusters. This is all stuff ready to go on an FXR. So he engraves those, FXR, Sportster. He'll make them just say USA, whatever. He's got a few different logos you could option for on those and all different colors. I like the gold, so Gold is going on the next one. I think he does red, blue, gold, black. And I think he's doing silver now. I'm not sure. Check it all out on the website, though. These are killer. Must have for any of the older swing arms. Like the hollow swing arms like FXRs, Sportsters, older shovel heads, whatever he makes them for. So you don't crush your swing arms. I don't know why the hell Harley even ever made the axle adjusters they made, obviously to save money. But all it ever did was ruin swing arms and axles. It's a miracle that it took 40 years for a company to invent what Paul... Well, I don't even know. I mean, other companies made variations of it. Nobody's ever done it as good as Bareknuckle. Not even close. And especially with these axles. These things are killer. You can, and that's the other thing too. I forgot the size on these, but it's like, I think it's like 5/8 or 11/16. Anyways, you could, it might even be 9/16. Depends on the axle actually. But you could just bring a small wrench and then just a little screwdriver fits in there. And you're adjusting an axle on the road. You're adjusting a chain. You're pulling a flat tire off. Super simple, small tools. It's awesome. Super killer. Yeah, and if we're on the FXR kick too, I got this book here because I know Nick is running another run of these. These were limited. I think he only ran like 20 or 50 of these. I don't know, man. I didn't even know I was getting these when he was sending these out. He just sent this thing to me. This is the FXR Cool Kid Color Red. But he's doing another limited run. I don't even know if he's probably out by the time this video comes, so it's kind of a dick move to even say that. But I'm pretty sure he has black ones. Get the FXR book, but the purpose of me saying that also is not just because I know he's bringing these things back out on a limited run. Is both of these guys, Paul and Nick, are building FXRs right now for the FXR Tour. And they're going to be running out of Durango, my favorite place in the country. I guess at this point I'm there so damn much and whatever. But yeah, they're going to be running out of, when they build all these bikes, there's 9 builders from all over the country building these bikes. Jace from the Fast Life is another one who's doing this build. You can listen to his podcast, check out his build, follow him along. A whole bunch of other guys. But there's 9 builders. They're all meeting when they build these bikes in Durango, Colorado, and then they're riding to Born Free. Yeah. And if you're nice enough to Nick, he'll sign it. Also, I didn't know he was doing that. He's just a nice guy, man. Give him a follow. Boom. Get a little signature on yours. And give him a follow. FXR Bazaar. It's the only place that you're going to find that many FXR parts for sale in one place. It's awesome. You'll spend all your damn money on FXR parts if you don't already. Also brought to you by Evan Simbita. Simbita Custom Knives. On Instagram, Simbita_custom_knives. Hit him up, man. Tell him I sent you. Also, if you're going to hit up Evan, tell him I sent you. It helps a lot. Goes a long way. 740-270-9057. Call Evan. Tell him I sent you. And also, get this hoodie, man. Look at how awesome this thing is. This hoodie is badass. It's made in America also. Everything's made in America, Bareknuckle. And also Evan's knives, dude. Evan is another guy. All American made in Ohio. I don't know, man. I can't say much more about the guy. All of them. They're all awesome. Lexan-moto.com for the best audio devices inside of your helmet. Enhance your riding experience. Go to Lexan-moto.com. Type in the code word CRAZY at checkout for 15% off. And don't forget to go to the Bump Shop Diaries on Instagram. The Bump Shop Podcast. Yeah, it's the only place that you could get Crazy Gentleman shirts. And also don't forget to like, subscribe, give me a good rating on YouTube and whatever podcast platform you listen to on. Goes a long way. Hit up the Patreon. It's the Crazy Gentleman on the Patreon. For $1.25 a week, you could start supporting me. That comes out to $5 a month. That's where it starts. There's all different tiers. However much you love me, support me. I'm also going to set up this other thing that's not Patreon for people that just want to throw a donation every now and then. You're feeling friendly, throw me a donation. I'm figuring all that out. Either way, I'm cutting to the chase here. Thank you, Warren and Paul. Oh, also, I need to say, because this is all part of there's the first 4 shows on YouTube are just like, I just got this equipment days before leaving for Mama Tried, just learning it all. So this is the worst of the Mama Tried shows in terms of the video quality. I definitely apologize for the video quality on this one particularly. The next 2 are much better, but this one was a quick put together, man. I didn't plan on doing a show with Paul at Mama Tried, but we were hanging out in his booth and he wanted to do a show, and I will never turn down a show with Paul. You'll definitely see him again soon too. I know I'm going to see him again pretty soon this year. But I can never turn down a show with Paul. So we put this one together quick. Warren set us up in this badass room that supposedly Kurt Cobain loved this room too. So here we are, man. We set this thing up. Video quality sucks. But also this is show number 60, which is kind of cool too, because Paul was my first show. So he was my first one. And now he's number 60. Maybe he'll be number 100. Maybe he'll be 70, 80, 90, and 100. I don't know. But we're going to see him again soon regardless. Go get a hoodie there. Go get some killer parts. He's the best. And Mama Tried is the best. Thank you both. And we'll see you guys all next week. That was a lot of advertising too. I'm sorry. Later.
Just to use the parts, show the parts, stay
keep people
relevant
looking. Keep people looking.
The flash.
Hell yeah. All right, man, we're rolling.
You gonna tase me with that?
Yeah. I fucking zap you. Yeah, dude, we're rolling here at Mama Tried Motorcycle Show, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with the man himself.
Cheers.
The ringleader of all this madness, Warren. And the usual fucking Bareknuckle Performance, dude, brought to you by. Hit him up, Bareknuckle Performance, all the best quality American-made parts in the industry.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, dude. So what's up, man? You guys enjoying the show or what?
Yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah?
Yes. I mean...
It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
It's been nice having Paul on the floor.
Yeah, man, it was pretty big deal for us to be on the floor this year.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man.
Yeah, and very happy we did it. Looking forward to next year already.
A little bit of a full circle, man.
Man.
We got a lot of history together.
We do. It's been a good run, right?
Yeah.
We were upstairs at the bar a minute ago waiting on a drink, and he's like, "Oh, there's my shop," and they're playing the video, and it's kids on the little bicycles riding around over little jumps and stuff, and I was just thinking, man, we've come a long way since almost 20 years ago camping at the old Broken Spoke or even in the other campgrounds.
Yeah, the Limp
and
Nicky
just
days.
the Limp Nicky days and being sunburnt and greasy and dirty, and now we're almost portraying businessmen to some extent.
Right. Still trying to keep it a little raw and real. And,
Yep.
There's a fine balance there.
I would say you guys are doing pretty fucking good at the business thing.
Man, smoke and mirrors on my end, man. He's doing great. I was smoke and mirrors on our end. We're held together by hopes and prayers, mostly some duct tape.
Well, that's a common thing.
I think it is. I think it is in most industries, probably.
Yeah, there's you can look from afar and make judgments and assumptions, but you know how that goes. It's makes an ass out of you and me.
Yep. How many times people say, "Well, I don't have the crew the size that you do," and I'm like, I have a tiny crew.
Yeah.
We're just efficient and work well together, and we're passionate about it. But yeah, we do not have a big crew, and we don't.
Yeah, I get any more. I've got 2 guys that work for me full time. If I go to 3, I know that's my I'm gonna pull my hair out. I want to do that for so long that I got to pull back down because
Yeah.
I don't want to grow my business anymore. I like where I'm at. I like the numbers. I like the stress levels. I can balance all of the other things that I do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a nice balance. As long as I can keep them guys busy and keep them focused and driven and stay about a day ahead of them,
Yep.
works out okay.
Dude, I would say I got the two most humble guys here on this couch. I mean, seriously, to the point where I don't even think most guys know that you're in the motorcycle industry. I think they just know you do Mama Tried.
Yeah. I know. I like the fact
crazy,
that I can
dude.
wander on that floor as a patron and nobody even fucking knows who I am.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with all the bullshit. It's nice when people come up, and I appreciate that, and a good portion of that I take to heart, and I get it. But it's just not, and it goes for Scott too. Scott's the same way. Like we don't want it to be about us. It's not the whole point why we're doing this.
Right,
I don't want.
It shows through in what you guys deliver. It's not about, an ego or anything. It's definitely about the motorcycle and the party and the good time and
the people.
Seeing people leave the place with a big smile on their face.
Right. Yeah, that's...
Dude, everybody, like my son absolutely hates doing shows because he's so like driven at his job. He's like, it takes me away from my job, Can't tell you how many times this week, and he's like, this is the show. He's like, this I actually like. He's like, not like saying, hey, this is worth our time and effort. He's actually enjoying it.
Yeah,
and,
so right, that's always a little bit of a push and pull situation that we put you and everybody else in, right? Like, you're not coming to a trade show to be solely focused on pushing parts.
Right.
You're here in a little bit of a different capacity. You have to be open and willing to participate and add to the environment. Right. And then this is something that is not it's like a slow burn deal. Folks that show up one time and don't understand how these things work and how we want things to go kind of aren't around the next year. You have to do this multiple times and just keep tweaking the dials and making sure that you're getting across what you want, but you're also adding to what we have going on.
100%.
The more we do it, the better it gets, the more efficient
for everybody
it gets.
Yeah.
Right.
We already said, like, okay, this year was amazing because this is our third year in a row vending here, but it's our first time on the main floor, and we really have been tweaking it each time. Like, this is one of the very few indoor shows we do every year because we don't even do a lot of shows, Rob. You know that. Like, we'll go to the block party, we'll hit Sturgis, and Sturgis we'll set up for a day here and there, but it's more riding, shaking hands, seeing our friends. This is one of the very few indoor shows we do, but like, we're like, okay, so if we bring either a TV or a projector next time, and if we bring this kind of a display, I think we have it dialed for next time. So, just moving up closer to the main floor has helped us every step of the way. And man, it's just, the crowd's been awesome. These guys have been great. I can't say enough. Not trying to turn it into a commercial either. It's all very genuine. It
is what it is. And like the positive conversations and I've had more conversations about non-motorcycle shit all weekend, and that gets me going. I love that. The motorcycles are the glue or the fly to light situation, but all those kind of go away, and then it turns into a social event, and it's hugs and high fives and taking memories, and
motorcycles
do it next year.
Just a common thread.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Warren, my biggest question for you is how the hell did you get that snowmobile in the Iron Horse parking lot yesterday?
Well, we got lucky, man. We had,
what the hell, dude?
We saw the forecast. I had I had to do a delivery to the Iron Horse anyways because we do a lot of their steel work. So it was on the trailer. I'm like, you know what? Just park it like a motorcycle out there and let's see what happens.
Oh, I thought you rode it in there.
I trailered it to Iron Horse, but I rode it all over the city on Thursday night.
Okay, yeah, I saw you have fuel on it, which was awesome. I took a picture of it and everything.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. Whose is this? And then we found out whose it was, but.
Yeah, it's that's a perfect scenario, right? Like, if I didn't have that sled sitting there because I had a lot going on last week. Yeah. And didn't realize or think about what to do with it, it never would have happened. But it just, like, I didn't know if it was going to be good enough to even ride the thing on the streets, and I don't know, it worked out great.
You could have called us driving in, and we'd have told you, yeah, you should probably take a snowmobile because pulling a trailer is not cutting it.
Yeah.
It was interesting Thursday night.
Man, so the first time I met Christian Sosa, it was at 3 o'clock in the morning on National and 6th downtown.
Really?
He had just done, I don't know, 10, 15 hot laps around the blocks. I'm like, all right, I got to go to bed. So I'm like, hey, I need that thing back. I got to go. And Magic Mike was there. He's like, this is Sosa. I'm like, what? Nice to meet you, buddy. I get on the sled and it don't go nowhere. The belt broke. So we're popping it apart and fucking working on shit. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, dude, this is magic right now. This is how things go.
Yeah.
To meet a guy like that on accident.
That bike of his is dude, that bike, I'm just like, what?
Dude, I hate to pick favorites or anything like that, but Jesus,
that's just another world, man.
Dude, it's just a whole nother level.
I think Warren and I can say that we know our way around a piece of sheet metal or iron or whatever, but that's just like, let alone how to do it.
He said how to do what he did. Half-inch too.
Yeah.
You know how hard that is to shape half-inch?
Dude,
that's crazy, dude.
Let alone how you do it, just to dream that thing up.
Yeah.
How does
and it's like seamless and it's crazy, man.
How does he sleep?
I respect those guys like him, man. There's not many like him, but I do. What he did is fucking crazy.
Well, having the Haas Museum up here with those bikes, is pretty special. I haven't seen a Max Hazen bike in person. And
that one's cool too.
Here on the floor, and Craig Rodsmith, and man, it's wild, and to see him up against or right next to a scooter with the Briggs and Stratton motor and a wheelie bar.
Yeah.
There's something in that.
Right. Absolutely.
Makes people think. You're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. But
I've said this on other podcasts, like when people are like, oh, what do you ride that for? I'm like, because it's a motorcycle, man. Like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, if you're on any make, model of motorcycle and you're not smiling, there's something wrong in your life.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Like, we all have our favorites, but man, I love them all.
I learned that early on. I don't know where it came from, man, but like, when I first started riding, my dad had a shop, so I was a spoiled kid that had a fucking custom chopper riding to high school.
Really?
So not everybody can do that, right? So I'm riding with guys on whatever Honda Shadows and fucking pink Honda Sprees. I don't give a shit. Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm in. We get it all the time. People stop at the gas station like, "What are you doing riding with those guys?" I'm like, "What? What do you mean? I don't understand."
Yeah.
What's your question?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Besides Harleys, you got any other bikes? You got like a wild collection these days, Warren? Like, when I say wild, I mean spreading across different brands.
Yeah. I mean, after meeting Scott, I got into racing, and that opened my mind up. I was just a chopper kid with blinders on, and he opened my eyes up to the world of motorcycling. And on my bench right now, I have a 89 ZX7 that I'm chopping up and using, just basically biting Jeff Wright style. Because I've been seeing his bikes, and I can't get out of my brain. I got to build.
Yeah, it makes you want to. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That guy's inspired me like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing, full custom suspension and rear section and exhaust pipe and all of it. I'm nerding out and learning about Kawasaki's now.
Yeah.
It's just another chapter, and I'm looking forward to riding that one. Maybe it'll be here next year.
Yeah. Yeah, Paul, you pop up obviously on time to time, like we do the social media thing. And man, I don't really care who hears it, but dude, I can't tell you how many comments I've gotten like, he rides a BMW, like what the hell? I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. Who cares?
And then Harley releases one and it's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
All that being said, I have one of those being delivered Tuesday. So we got a Pan Am coming in for the shop. We've been working with Danger Dan on some Pan Am stuff. We're gonna be releasing a co-branded line of protective gear for Pan Ams.
Like exo cages, you mean?
Some of that, like, he's, so Dan's had the bike all over the world, and radiator guards, some stuff he's seen, issues with covering up brake rotors, a coil cover. We already have actually quite a bit of it done and ready to go. We're just working on getting his logo on it. Sick. So we're doing that, and then we liked the bike so much, I'm like, well, we could also do this and we could also do this. So we're going to do our own little line of adventure stuff, but the bigger thing we're going to do, and we haven't even made any of this public yet, but I guess we are now, we're going to do like a Street Fighter version of it. We're going to have a bunch of parts to turn that bike into a Street Fighter. So like we've already got like a license plate relocation kit that kind of gets rid of that ugly plastic thing and tucks it up really super tight. But then we have a new tail section, so you get rid of the grab bar and everything, and then gets rid of the rear pillion.
Is that like a whole so
we're not
that'll just bolt on?
No, it'll bolt onto the top of that where all the other kind of luggage and the grab bar and all that stuff. So it'll just have like that sleek little aluminum tail section look, and then just a lot of other cool little race inspired stuff. And we're gonna show that you can take the bike from adventure bike to street fighter bike in like a short afternoon.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we'll have that bike. It might show up to the show one time as an adventure bike, and next time it'll show up as a street fighter.
Cool, man.
Just by removing a few things, changing a couple things, because that bike's that bike's a very good adventure bike, but that bike's an amazing street bike.
Yeah,
that bike's so fun to ride.
Oh yeah,
I haven't been on one yet.
They're bad, man.
Fucking
I love
rocket
them.
ships, dude.
Yeah, they are.
I rode one in Tennessee both those years.
They do?
Yeah.
So I'd just ridden one around the parking lot basically, and then Dan called and he's like, "Hey, that bike of mine's coming in," and I'm like, "Cool, bring it to Mom and Tried," because we'd already talked about doing the parts line together. I'm like, "Cool, bring it to Mom and Tried, and I'll take it home from there." And he's like, "Well, tell you what, I'll have it tomorrow. Can you be down here the day after tomorrow and then just ride it home?" Yeah. And this is like when he was going to say come down and get it was New Year's Eve, and then ride it home on New Year's Day, and you know how weather can be in the Midwest.
Yeah, I do.
So it's beautiful leaving Texas, and then I get into Arkansas, and it's like sleet and snow and ice. And I rode it, like, we've got YouTube stuff out on it, and you can see me riding through all kinds of dirt and off. There's timber roads down there, for the logging industry. Mm-hmm. And
the Ozarks.
We found those and had a hell of a time. It was a blast.
Cool,
so,
man.
We brought it home, washed it off, of course, and then got to work making parts. So be looking for that. But, the Pan Am's fun, man. Oh, dude, I mean, the BMW's a great bike. Like, I'd have a Ducati if I could. I'd fill
I want
2
a
buildings
monster
up.
so bad, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
all
fucking.
I was talking to
Ducati
Craig
monsters.
once. He's like, go for he gave me a year range or something of the Ducati monster that I'm gonna go after I'm done with the Kawasaki.
Awesome. This is Craig Rodsmith said. Certain years.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean on Craig on that one.
You remember maybe like 20 years ago, there was a Ducati chopper that was in like the Horse magazine or something like that.
I'll have to Google it.
And it was freaking rad, man. It was so nasty. And I think I saw it at a smokeout or Sturgis or something, and got that Ducati rumble, like it's just so unmistakable. That's the thing, dude. I'd have every motorcycle I could if time and money would permit.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's either time or money. I always say like the sweet spot for me is like 4 to 6 bikes. It's like manageable money-wise. It's manageable maintenance-wise. Like it's just kind of the manageable number,
I don't even know how
for
many
for a regular working man, I'll say,
I don't want to count them.
Yeah, no, I don't. I was thinking a while ago. I'm like, I gotta have a handful. Maybe 2 handfuls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my shop's it's kind of a revolving door. I'll build them and then file them, and if I need.
What's your favorite one you've ever built or owned?
The Death Dealer.
Yeah.
That bike rules. As soon as I put that Sugar Bear front end on it just changed that thing forever, and it'll never go back.
It's legendary.
It just rides so
Yeah, it's
nice.
got kind of its own life.
Yeah, that one was awesome.
So I saw you in Sturgis, and I tried buying that panhead frame from you. The Sugar Bear front end on that, was that like a cool swap meet score, or did Sugar Bear make that one for you?
No, we got that off of Craigslist. I actually bought it for a buddy of mine. He had just crashed his bike and was looking for a Springer. We got a screaming deal on it, and he put it on his bike and wasn't into it. I put it right on mine. I'm like, holy shit, I'm taking it off. And just bought it from him. I don't even think he paid me yet. I think I bought it for him because I was doing the work to make the insurance work to fix his bike.
Yeah.
Worked out great. Had some sweet T-bars, I think. And I've been out to California with it, so I took it over to Bear's place, and he looked at it and inspected it and told me the year and when it was built. And
dude, that's so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, so awesome. Kevin Bass took us out to his shop and just shot the shit with him. He rules. In fact, I got his shirt on, Chopper Flats.
Sick, man.
Good dude.
Yeah. That was the first time in Sturgis this year I met him at Chopper Flats.
Sure.
What a fucking awesome guy, man.
Mm-hmm.
But how'd you guys meet?
Was it the Limp Nicky lot? It might have been before that.
I think it was the what was the thing we used to do? BMR.
That was the Limp Nicky lot was going on before that. So how I met you was you were starting to do something with Chris from Cycle Source, and he's like, man, he said, you know of Warren Cycle? And I'm like, I've heard of him. He's like, well, his son's getting into this stuff. And what were you making it? Was it Triple Trees?
Triple Trees, gloves, and pegs and shit.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to get you guys in contact with one another and see if you can do some work with each other. And then I think we met at Sturgis that year.
That might have been.
It was probably Sturgis.
Probably.
So, I mean, like, whenever Richie's movie came out, we already knew each other.
Yeah.
I told that story the other night. When Rich Grabby had a movie come out, maybe 07 or 08, 09, somewhere in there, called Free to Wander. A really cool little movie he did, and he visited a few shops. They had the premiere in St. Louis, and Warren and some other guys from Milwaukee and Chicago came down for it, and we just had a really good party. And
St. Louis does not disappoint.
St. Louis doesn't disappoint when it comes to partying. So yeah, there was of course some interesting other stories around that, but yeah, so we've known each other for quite some time. I mean, he asked us to be part of the very first Mama Tried too, and we've been
that whole group, man. Like Pat, and you, and I felt like y'all are kind of mentors and like father figures to me at that point.
I appreciate that, man. That's
good, because like I'm green as shit going. You guys had some time in, and I could get a little wild, but fit right in because you guys are right there.
Yeah.
Leading the charge, and it worked out really well, and it was a great way to learn and be a part of the industry that I've been. I mean, I was raised in a shop. My dad still has a shop, so. And I was trying to do things in my area, and it was just really frustrating. When I finally got out of there and moved to Milwaukee, and doors opened, and I just started trekking out a little further. Making the radius of my reach bigger and bigger, and making more friends. And you guys were the first ones that took me under.
Well, it's been amazing to see what you've done with it, because you've exceeded anybody else's expectations, or
my own.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. I mean, the whole thing took on but you know what? We felt it leaving that first show. That very first show. I mean, man, we've got some stories from that first one, too. That was a wild weekend. I think the coldest walk I've ever had in my life was leaving the museum that night after the party at the museum, and then walking across that damn bridge to the Iron Horse. I'm like, dude, this is the coldest I've ever been in my whole life. I'm sitting at a table at the party. It's like a day or two before the show. I think there wasn't a party that night. It was a Friday night then, wasn't it?
I think so.
At the museum, because it wasn't flat out Friday yet. There wasn't really any racing yet.
Right.
And I'm like trying to have a decent conversation with Michael Lichter and Scott Takis and some other, industry, just giants and people that I've looked up to for years. And I've got the most chaotic, like, people have their shirts off and dancing around, and the waitresses are like, "Sir, you got to put your shirt on." He's like, "No, it's okay, I'm partying." And I'm like, "No, you don't." And he's like, "No, seriously, it's fine, I'm partying." It's just, that's the balance here. Is you've got like really, like you see people from Harley here, but then you've got just complete craziness too, and it's from day one, and you just felt like, man, that show's special.
Yeah.
Because it's genuine, like you go to Scott's Cafe, or you go to, Warren's shop, or just know those guys, and it's like they're just so passion driven, just like all of us that have been in it for so long. Because trust me, there's been plenty of times where businessman's like, "Yep, I'm out."
It's hard.
It's just, dude, you have to love it, and it's like, number one, I'm not going to let anything in the world beat me. And number two, what else would I do?
Yeah.
This is why I got too much in it, and I love it too much.
I've tried to run a few times, man, but it catches me.
I did too for a minute. Yeah. I tried to get away from it for a short second, and it sucked me back in harder than ever.
Yeah.
I'm glad it did.
Me too.
Now it's starting to make sense. They say the first 5 years in business are the toughest. I think it's about 20 though. Yeah. The first 20 years are a bitch, and I don't know if the second 20 are all that much better, but I'm hoping they are.
Yeah,
you probably just get used to it more.
Oh, I know. Now I'm just kind of calloused and jaded, and I'm like,
the motorcycle industry adds a multiplier, I think.
Yeah. But dude, it's rewarding, and we love it. So.
Hell yeah, man. Paul, I know your dad's still kicking and riding some motorcycles.
Yep.
Warren, is your dad still alive to see the success of all this?
He's sitting up there mounting into a couch
awesome,
after a dummy, man. Like, he enjoys this shit too.
Awesome.
That's
He's
awesome.
babysitting my kids, and my mom's still around. Like they're part of the team. You know, they gotta take them boys and keep them in line and get them to where they need to be and make sure they eat right and sleep right so that we can relax and not have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, he's definitely around and kicking.
Awesome.
He may not ride as much as he should, but he still has a shop. So like he made his hobby his job, and you know he rides every day, but doesn't ride when he's not working.
Right.
But,
did you grow up in Milwaukee?
no, I'm from Illinois, just a little bit south of the border.
So you still live in Illinois?
No, I live in Wisconsin now.
Oh, okay.
I've been here for, I don't know, 17 or 18 years now.
Okay.
Moved up for a job and a girl and never left. Got a bunch of kids and some businesses. And
Yeah.
yeah, here we are.
Yeah. It's funny how girls will get you moving around. Yeah, man. Dude, Paul, what's the dynamic like now that Sam's stepping up?
Well, you guys watching can probably notice that we're getting better at things. Sam's great at what he does. He's got a better business head about him than I do.
Yeah.
I'm always about, I just get too into, you know, creating something or making a new thing or getting a bike built, and Sam's really, really on top of being a businessman, making, you know, he's really good at customer service and just keeping everybody happy, dealing with our dealers and all that stuff. So he's really changing the whole face of the business. He's mentioned numerous times, and he'll probably kill me for saying this, but he's like, I don't want to be seen as the boss's son.
Right.
You know, he's like, I'm going to earn it. And he does. I mean, the kid, you know, I've just, over the last he's been like at it full time and serious about it for about 3 years now. And before that, he's like, I just want you to know this is just a job. When I figure out what I want to do with my life, I'm going to be gone. And then next thing you know, he's like, hey, in the next 5 or 6 years, I want this to be like this, and I'll be doing that, and you'll do that. And he's putting all that into action. And I mean, the kid, especially the last couple of weeks getting ready for this show, and we had a show back home the week before. I mean, he was working 14, 15 hours a day, and I don't ask him that. You know, he just duty calls, and he's down there working.
Right.
Win what?
You're a winner.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't think that, as a father myself, I don't think that there could be anything more satisfying.
Well, and it's real. I was thinking a minute ago when you were talking about your father, I was thinking about how cool it is to see your kids here, because my kids used to go to the occasional show with me, and they were only that size.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, now my daughter graduated college, and she's down in Florida, like, helping dolphins get rehabilitated and doing all this crazy, like, she followed her dream, and my kid's following his, and yeah, it's pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
My dad still comes to the shop pretty often, so all three of us get to hang out and
Cool.
you know, go out and have a beer occasionally, and yeah, it's really cool, man. I like seeing Warren doing the same thing, and you know, you don't want to force your kid. Like people, somebody was just, well, Jordan Dickinson. I was talking to him. He's like, man, I hope my kids are into it. I go, yeah. But I always wanted my kids just to be happy. Like I don't care what it is, just be happy doing what you're doing. And then that's the most rewarding thing in life. And I tell my kid now, I'm like, hey, dude, if you ever get burnt out on this, you want to go do something else, do not feel obligated. Don't feel any kind of obligation to your dad. Like, right. I just want you to genuinely be happy. Because there's no bigger, I mean, that's all there is to being a parent or a father is, you know, seeing your kids smile and be happy. And he's doing it, man. He loves his job, and he's earning it.
Hell yeah.
I love it because he got an FXR last year, and I'm like, why is that thing still sitting in a garage? You haven't done a damn thing to it. And he's like, I thought about chopping it. And he's like, I think, and I'm like the proudest dad moment probably ever, because I'm like, I just love that my 20-year-old son has an FXR, but the fact that he's thinking about turning into a chopper made me the happiest. I'm like, dude, that's just fucking cool, man.
You think that blue bike is what lit his fire?
Yeah, and I think just, it's funny because when he was in high school, he's like, no offense, Dad, but Harleys are kind of, And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever, kid. You know, he was into dirt bikes and sport bikes and stuff, and he's been on dirt bikes since he was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And now he's just like, his friends have sport bikes, and he's like, man, you guys need to get Harleys, you know? Like, you just start off on a 1200 Sportster and work your way up. And I think just being around it, just like me, like my dad had a chopper when I was a little guy, and you know, the L4 Steros are in our town, so like you'd see all these super crazy choppers everywhere. So I have this story. There was one that lived in our little town, he lived right on Main Street, and I'd be going up Main Street on the way to church on Sunday morning. Those guys still be out in the yard partying. I'm like, man, I'd rather kind of be with those guys than going to church, you know? So, you know, it was in my blood like it was him. Like, I've got this killer poster in one of the rooms in my house, and it's a photo of my best friend Darren doing a burnout on a bike at one of our parties, and then Lemmy lighting it up, and, you know, there's flames going everywhere, and behind it you can see Sam in his dirt bike outfit, and he's probably about the age of your oldest. He's got his fingers in his ears, and behind him there's this huge fire. And he had set that fire just like 5 minutes earlier. Now my friends over here are setting a motorcycle on fire. It's the coolest picture. I'll send you a photo of it.
Yeah, dude, I would love to see that.
It's just like, it's so cool seeing him, because he'd go to our parties and watch all this craziness, and he'd ride his dirt bike around and try to be, you know, 8-year-old crazy.
Yeah.
And
when you say Lemmy, you're talking about from Motorhead?
No. A friend of ours named Chad Lemmy. He used to work for me, and he's actually how I met Darren. He's up in South Dakota, though. Yeah. No, definitely not it, but he's probably about as wild as actual Lemmy is or was.
Hell yeah, man. Well, we're almost at a half hour, man. You guys want to wrap it up?
Oh, it's up to you guys, man. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, I don't want to kill your guys' time.
I'm gonna go check and see.
Let's
what's
get
going
back
on.
to.
I mean, I'll stay here all day because it means I don't have to stand up at the booth, but I guess I better get back to the booth. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. And thank you for everything, Warren.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an honor every time,
Thank you so
man.
much, Warren.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Do you want to humbly plug your shop?
JR Cycle Products.
All right.
I got a new website. You can buy some merch. You know, go see all my bikes. It's fun.
Shopping for the industry.
I try,
as a
man.
whole. You do great, man.
I just want to support
You're the
people
same
that
as
are
Warren, man. I
American.
can tell it's your passion, so that's why it works.
Yeah. That's it, man. Made in the USA. That's what I'm all
right.
about.
Well, let's get the fuck out of here.
All right, man. See you guys later.
Oh!
Damn, it's one already. How about
You
that?
guys fucking rock. Thank you.
Dude.